All right, perfect. So we're back here live on another Friday. Today's October 24th, and every Friday to end out this year, we're going to be coming here providing value for anybody that missed last week. We were giving you guys an insight into who we are as a fund, what is our vision, where are we going to be in the next 3 to 5 years, right? That's always the question is, okay, yes, I see you guys right now, but where are you guys headed and where are you guys going? So that was last video. Today, we're going to talk about building out your dream team. So when we talk about the 92 or 94 dream team with the Olympics, and then even just his previous dream team, right? Recently, Steve Kerr had gone out and picked his team for that dream team. So today, y'all are Steve Kerr, and we're gonna help you guys with picking out y'all dream team. So I had to rep the jersey. Y'all see, we got the Peach Bowl gear on, limited edition, and one of one. Live, y'all see we got the green marks on it still. We got the turf on here, the grass, and I wanted to make sure that y'all are here ready, game day ready. So before we hop into, I got a little vibe for y'all. I just want to know, I just want to know who's ready. 'Cause you know what? We're ready. We're ready to provide this value for y'all, and we're ready to go over what team is going to need to be out there speaking to the face space. All right, we ready, man. So, little, gave me the chills just, thinking about that earlier and, getting ready and a lot of nostalgia, listen to that and, some other songs, just getting ready for game day. And so, we wanted to prepare y'all. So, whatever hype music y'all need, to help you guys get in the mode to be here for the next 30 minutes to an hour while we go over. And Michael's put together a great, we went over a little bit yesterday, great, overview and really giving you guys everything that you guys will need in terms of the team that you guys are going to be building out in the multifamily real estate space. So thank you all for being here. I just want to give you guys a quick overview as to what it is that we are going to be getting into. Michael, how you doing today, brother?
I am doing fantastic. I'm ready for today. Couple things. I'm gonna bounce off of what you said real quick. One, putting together the dream team, right? Steve Kerr goes out there, puts together the dream team. It takes me back to AAU days. For those of you who grew up playing sports, and I'm gonna take you back if you guys played AAU as well. I played basketball a lot, and I remember I was on one of the top teams in the country. We were ranked 36 in the country, but we always had a new team. We had a new team almost every single month. And the reason for that is because our coaches and the president of the organization, it was just funny. We'd fly, we would have a tournament, let's say in Dallas, but we're missing a point guard. Well, they have been scouting point guards all over the country, and they just literally call them up and say, hey, you're going to play in the tournament in 2 weeks in Dallas with us. They'd fly in, no practice with us. Like, when you always have a new team, here's the thing about recruiting high caliber talent is when you recruit high caliber talent and you want to work with high caliber people, they're already good at what they're good at. You don't need to coach them or you don't need to train them. So if we fly in a random point guard to our Dallas tournament and then next month we fly in a random shooting guard that's never played with our team before to a Florida tournament, and we don't need to train them, right? When we're all talented athlete players, all we need to know is, hey, that person's good at shooting, that person's good at handling the ball, he could run the floor, he could call out the plays. Let them do at what they're good at. And within a couple hours, when you go to like the YMCA or you go to the rec center and you put together a random 5-on-5, and maybe the first 5 minutes you guys are rusty trying to figure out who's good at what, or game one, right? Game one, everyone's rusty, but by the time game two comes, who's good at what. So whenever you're building your real estate team, it's the same way, right? You might need to call a couple brokers and practice with them a little bit, give them some things to do, some tasks to do, and see how they respond, see how they do what they do best, right? When Tone and I started building our fund for multifamily, we didn't go right away and become GPs, right? There's LPs and GPs. GPs are the ones that execute the business plan. They're the ones that get the property, guarantee the loan. They're the ones that execute the construction of the business plan over the 2 to 5 year term, right? And then they go out there and they find the buyer to sell it. Well, we're LPs. And what that means is we launched our fund, and we're going to be a mixture of GPs and LPs throughout our career. But specifically right now, we recruited and we found a great GP team, an operations team that's already good at what they're doing. But I interviewed 70 different operating teams around the country to figure out which one I wanted to start off with, right? And so that's the importance of doing it. But if you ever thought about getting into real estate and building wealth for yourself right now, start immediately building your team now. I've been building my team for 4 years, at least my relationships for 4 years around multifamily, but only started doing multifamily this year. So I planned ahead, right? You always want to start building relationships ahead, especially in just business and entrepreneurship in general. So I put together a spreadsheet. This is going to be version 1.0. I'm definitely going to add a version 2.0, update it. What we'll do is below this video, for those of you, if you guys are joining us live, what's up? If you guys are watching the recording on YouTube or wherever this is published, directly below it, we'll make sure we'll put the link to download the spreadsheet. You guys can make a copy, Google spreadsheet. And as that gets updated, we'll just update the link to the newest version. But as I was going through deciding what should we have on building our team, who's important and what do they do, a lot more people popped up. So as more different individuals popped up, right, the water boy in the NFL makes 50 grand a year. That's an important role, right? I bet you guys didn't know a water boy in NFL made 50 grand a year. That's, so maybe he's not the quarterback, but the water boy is very, very, very important to that quarterback, right? And if he's not there, then, all hell breaks loose, right? So let's go ahead and dive in. I'm going to just share my screen. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go over the spreadsheet real quick, show you guys just the layout, but I don't want it to glitch in and out and everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you the layout, and then I'm just going to hop off and I'm going to talk to you guys and have you guys, as you're listening, who to write down, why they're important,
And really quick to touch on that as well too, Michael, coming in as we went through and did the due diligence on interviewing the 70 different funds, something that really got us to go with Rise was the fact that they're vertically integrated. So when we talk about building out your team, it's not just going to be, for example, let's say we're an owner of NFL team. It's not just going to be the players. Like Michael was saying, the water boy, the ball boy, the tee boy, who goes and puts out the tee and goes and picks up the tee, who's running out there each time, to the people that are doing the chains, to the people that are running the merch, to, there's a whole, team outside of even just the players that are actively going to be playing and doing the real estate deals. How about managing it as well too? And when we talk about, scaling and building something that's going to outlast us all, we want to be able to vertically integrate. And, that's, why we chose Rise is because of the vertical integration. And with that, they have property management. So who's going to be my property management team? Who's going to be my construction team? All right. So there's more than just the players out there that are going to be playing on the field that y'all will be drafting that, everybody will know prime time, but, all of it. And in order for the prime time to happen, there's other behind the scenes team members as well too. So that's also something important to keep in mind as you guys are going throughout the journey. And this is something as well too that me and Michael are putting together and vertically integrating ourselves. So we'll have the connections as well too if you guys can't think of any or don't have such. And that's the power of our communities and what it is that we're building as well too. So I wanted to touch on that real quick before you hop into this Excel.
Perfect. You guys are going to learn I'm a very faith-based individual. And there's one verse in the Bible that changed my whole entire entrepreneurship career. And it allows you to drop your ego when you understand this, right? In entrepreneurship, we're like, I could do it all by myself, right? I could do it all by myself. I could buy the property. I could pay for the property. I could guarantee the loan. I could do the construction. No, not at all. So in Proverbs 15:22, it basically says a wise man has many advisors, right? So seek counsel, not opinions. And when it said that, and when I read that, and when I implemented it, what it made me think is like, oh man, a wise man has many advisors. Well, let me go just get advice from the best people in the world, right? And I just, rather than being scared, in entrepreneurship, a lot of people are scared or have a fear of talking to rich people, or they're going to be like, oh, this wealthy person's too busy. I'll give you guys inside secret. Rich people aren't busy, right? Rich people got time. Wealthy people got time. And so it's up to you to be valuable to get their time. And asking for some information They don't mind as long as you do something with it. But if you're just constantly dragging information out of them and not using it or applying it, then yeah, they'll cut you off. So understand that this is your team. These are advisors, right? A broker is your advisor. The construction crew is your advisor. You're not a construction expert, so get a construction expert on your team. Okay, let me pop over here and share my screen. Alrighty.
So Michael, real quick, because I know he's probably going to head out of here soon, but we got tuned in right now, an ex-NFL former first rounder, not just ex-player, but first former rounder as well. How would you, coming in, and how would you choose and select your team coming into the real estate space? If this is something that you've dabbled with but haven't really, full-time selected your team. So if you can give insight into that as you're about to go over everything you are as well too, that would be helpful.
A big intro to that is, and especially with what we're doing with multifamily locker room with pro athletes, the big thing with pro athletes is I've had 56 NFL players signed to a brand before, and being able to talk to them all now, the biggest thing is they all have financial advisors. Some of them come into the league and they just like thrown a financial advisor because they're in the league and they're like, they don't got time to manage their money. So it's just kind of common for a pro athlete to just get thrown a financial advisor on them rather than have one or, have one in place. And as I talk to these financial advisors, some of them might be phenomenal at different investments, but never done real estate themselves. And so I think the biggest thing to finding a team is finding somebody that's going to be doing it consistently, doing it for a long period of time, right? I'm going to be in real estate till the day I die. I'm doing this game till the day I die. That's a good sign of maybe we should invest with those people. I'm a long-time learner, right? I don't have an ego. I don't know it all. What I do know, I share constantly. So everything I know, you guys are going to know, right? You're either going to know in our courses, you're going to know on these YouTube lives. Like I'm going to pour out information because I don't hold back. Because the more value information that we get and I share with you and you guys learn, you guys know that we know our stuff, right? And you also have to be willing to just delegate to the right people that you could trust. So I say as a pro athlete, toss some money maybe into a fund with somebody, see how they do with your money, build that relationship, right? It doesn't need to be $1 million. I think pro athletes with big contracts should do, $500,000 to $1 million investments multiple times a year, especially into real estate. But if you're just going to build that relationship, toss $100K, $200K into a deal, build that relationship, understand the business if you really want to. If you're too busy and you're focused on sports or maybe on your own ventures, that's why you have a team around you, right? So Tone and I can't be everywhere, right? We can't be managing these properties left and right now. That's why we partnered with teams that have done $2.5 billion in purchases, never lost a penny, paid out $119 million of profits to our investors. So being able to have that track record to where we can say, I could trust them based off their track record, then here we go. Here's some money. Let's build that relationship. Let's see how it goes, and go from there. So when I shared my screen right here, were you guys able to see?
So really what Michael's saying is we were like LeBron with the move with the Lakers. It was a smart business move, or more so KD with the move with the Warriors. They've already got that championship, they're already championship contenders. They've been for the past couple of years. Now KD's like, all right, let me come in. Let me add my game and, what I bring to the table to what this organization already is providing. That's what we're doing with our fund with Rise and the deals that they have. The deals, they've paid out over $119 million to investors. And so with what we're doing as we're stepping into the space, as we're partnered with teams and systems that have already been proven to win, so that we can therefore help our people win as well. So that now ultimately as the team and the people that we've helped, and as it's all coming together, now we can be going out doing our own deals. And as we're putting together the team, which we still are. So we're still, the pieces are still coming all together in terms of the team. But in terms of the team that we've partnered with, they've already got all the pieces and everything put together. So it just makes more sense as we're getting our full team, put together to partner with the team, that's already working, just like Katie did with the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah. One thing I learned in business from somebody, a strategic partner of mine, is he said a growing business is always hiring. A good business is always hiring, right? A great company is always hiring. So as we scale, I promise you guys, we will always be hiring. We'll always be bringing on a bigger team because we're always going to be scaling, right? We're always going to be making impact. So our vision here is to make impact. Yes, the money's great, the wealth is great, but how many families can we impact? How many households can we impact, right? My vision is to get as many people to 10K a month in passive income as fast as possible. That's my vision. If I could get 10,000 families to $10,000 a month, right, in the next decade, like that's my vision. That's breathable income for everybody. Can you see the spreadsheet? I think I hit share. Is it showing the spreadsheet or no?
Now we can.
Okay, cool. So here's the spreadsheet, guys. Here's what you're going to get. When you come over here, I'll put a big red bar right here. Actually, you know what? You guys will see me do this live. I go here. I'm going to drop a red bar. I'm going to put – you guys got to follow instructions. I got people that still don't know how to follow simple instructions. Click File. And then over here, put – what's it say? You hit File over here. Make a copy. Boom. There you go. So I'm going to put Make a copy. There you guys go. Click File, make a copy. That's going to be your instructions right there when you download this. Go ahead and put your LLC name in here. Now, this is for your local power team. I recommend start building a team locally right now. Yes, you could build a nationwide team later, but execute building your local team because that'll make you a bigger player in your town, right? You want people coming to you in your town. You want to attract investors. At the beginning, you might be going out finding investors, and that's what we're doing. We're going out and we're finding investors. But eventually, as we build such a big team and credibility, investors will find us, right? They're going to look for us. So here's the layout of the spreadsheet. Like I said, I'm not going to share the whole thing the whole time. I'm going to talk more. But I want to show you guys the layout and how it goes. So you'll have your local deal team, right? This is the team that puts the deals together. As we scroll down, you're going to have your local property team. Okay, this is the team that has everything to do with the property and making sure the property is taken care of. And then you're going to have your money team. So those are your three main teams that you're going to have. Now, each category. Perfect. Okay, so each category in here, let's go ahead and go over some. And I'll talk about why some of these are important too as well. Title agent. So you want to have a good title agent, right? Most people in single family, they know title agents. Everything goes through a title agency. Same thing in commercial. Every single document gets completed through the title agency. Now, you want to start interviewing some. In my local city where I'm at now, I'm still interviewing title agents. I've been all over this state trying to find a commercial multifamily title agent that knows what they're doing, that knows a little bit of seller finance, creative finance, also traditional. You want to make sure they're very flexible. They're the expert. They're the LeBron at what they do. And the better and closer you get to that person, the smoother your transactions are going to go, and they're going to teach you some things. So title agent's important because every transaction is going to go through a title agent. So you might as well have one that you build a relationship with. I also recommend, as you're building your team, actually build a relationship outside of business. One thing that I kind of had struggled with is I used to keep everything 100% business. And then I used to go home to my family and just relax. And then I got better at having like dinners, right? I would host a dinner at my house. I'd have people come over, I'd barbecue, or I'd have a top golf day. I'd invite my title agent, my insurance broker, and I would start introducing them to each other too. But I would build a relationship and I would try not to talk business, right? I'd get to know them. I'd get to learn about their family, their kids, what sports their kids play, and then support them. Matter of fact, there's a kids tournament, soccer tournament going on November 8th, where I'm at locally, and I'm going to go support because I met the founder of the organization and, he knows some people that I should be introduced to, and I'm just going to go support the kids. I'm going to go, eventually we could sponsor the kids, right? Imagine multifamily locker rooms sponsoring kids organizations, AAU teams, YAFL teams, things like that. So you want to be involved with your people, even your investors. Insurance broker, this is important because what we target in our model is 1980s vintage or newer. However, And the reason why we target 1980s vintage or newer is because insurance companies don't like insuring older buildings. Like if you have a 1967, apartment building, it might be well maintained, but the foundation might have some cracks in it. The insurance company is either gonna say no to you, or they're gonna spike your rates like crazy. The good thing is, if you got a 1967 building and it's a really good deal all the way around, but you got a previous relationship with your insurance broker, they might give you the same exact rate as your 1980s vintage or newer properties as you do on your 67 property because of the relationship, right? So you might get some slack cut to you. And we all know that. We've all had that done when we know somebody or build a relationship. It's funny. I went to an event. I'll relate this. I'm always networking. You always want to network. I went to a event here. You guys probably have seen the event advertised. It's called Life Surge. It's an event ran by it's a faith-based entrepreneurship, kingdom entrepreneurship speaking tour, right? That they're going around the town. And so I go to this event and I'm sitting down, and the first time I get up to go get coffee, they got one pot. They got like a 12-cup pot, and that's it. And they're the guys in the back, literally in the kitchen. Everyone is ordering coffee. This event started at 7:30 a.m. Everyone's ordering coffee, and this guy's only making 12 cups at a time. Given it probably takes 10 minutes to make that 12 cups. So 10 minutes, 12 cups out. Got to wait another 10 minutes, 12 cups out. So while I'm waiting for my cup, I'm just building a relationship with the workers, right? Oh man, it's cold in here. Have you worked here long? Just building that relationship. I got their phone number because we clicked on something. They actually wanted to start a clothing brand. And I was like, you know what? I'll help you. And so I got their phone number, and I'm sitting in my seat, and I got this VIP seat. I'm like right next to the stage, and I didn't want to walk all the way back to get my coffee. I said, hey, do you mind placing an order for my coffee? He's like, I'll run up there and I'll grab it. I'll pay for it. Can you just place it? Because I know they take a while. He placed it. He texted me. He said, hey, it's ready. Boom. I literally walked up, paid for it, walked down in minutes. Everyone in my row next to me was like, how did you get your coffee so fast? I was like, man, you guys got to make friends, right? So being able to just to make friends, people are there to support you. You definitely want a title attorney, right? Everything to transfer title. You don't want no hiccups in anything, right? You don't want to make sure that they don't got secondary loans that they're hiding, or any liens that they're hiding on the property, the previous seller. And so a real good title agency will do proper due diligence. You guys can see the way the columns are set up. So you got their company name, right? You want to make sure you know their first and last name. You got their phone number. You got their best email, right? You got their address, and then any notes you want to take down on them. Just so you guys know, my notes aren't really business related. A lot of my notes, about, I would say 80% of my notes are personal notes, meaning what is their wife's name? How many kids do they have? What are their kids' names? What grades are they in? What sports are they in? Where do they like to eat dinner? What are their favorite football teams, NFL teams? Because even though I don't watch sports, right? We have multifamily locker room, but I'm dedicated to my sport. Real estate is my sport, so I don't got time to really watch sports. But if I got an investor or a title attorney, and he's a Chicago Bears fan, and the Chicago Bears are playing, the New York Giants, and they win, I can shoot him a quick text, go Bears, and those little things go a long way. So I do an 80-20 rule, right? I do 80% personal notes, 20% business notes, and that allows me to build really strong relationships, because how many other people do you think texted them go Bears when they won? Maybe one that was their cousin or their brother or their dad or their daughter, but rarely is it a business associate. Litigation. Back on. All right. Litigation attorney is good to have.
Really quick, brother.
Yeah.
When we talk about raising capital as well and finding out those investors, this is something that I've been really putting focus on with the fund, and something that I've done is happening to your YMCAs, right? Your YMCAs have the older folks, and what I love to do is play pickleball. And they're all there every Tuesday and Thursday from 7 a.m. till noon. Every Tuesday and Thursday, they'll meet up as well too at this bar, and I need to go out to the bar and sit down and talk with them as well. but there's so many that I've connected with, individuals from India, and the area that I live in Arizona is a very nice area. And so the YMCA that we're at, it attracts high net worth individuals. So individuals from India, we've got some, tech guys that I've met from Taiwan, and, we got the snowbirds that live in Arizona that, during the winter, which they'll be coming out here pretty soon. And those connects that live up in Minnesota, or maybe they live in Canada, wherever it may be, right? So I'm connected with a lot of them. And like I mentioned, Minnesota, while I was just out in Minnesota, there's a couple Minnesota Viking fans. So as I'm at the stadium there this past weekend, what do you think I do? Just like Michael mentioned, go Bears, right? I'm here at the Vikings game, sending them some pictures at the game, and what they do. And when I come back, me at my company's headquarters is actually in Minnesota in the Twin Towers. If he's got headquarters and his company's headquarters in the Minnesota, I could assure you that that company's doing well. Minnesota is beautiful. I didn't even realize how beautiful it was. That stadium is state of the art. Tons of individuals that I connected with while just being there at the game as well too, and investors that will be investing into what it is that we do. And these are all just genuine connections. And the thing is I've always stated, recently stated, especially as I've traveled the world, the greatest gift anybody can gift me is a connection. Yeah. Right? Is a connection, because with the connection and a genuine connection, it's just like two great minds coming together ultimately to help the masses. And that's, at the end of the day, all that there is and all that there is to it. And whatever you guys excel at and are great at, those two great minds are going to go out, and what they excel at, they're going to give and offer to the world. And the offerings are going to be that much multiplied because of the two great minds and that connection coming together. And it's just like a lightning, a bolt of lightning, and all that comes from such. And so literally that's just some things as well too, to give you guys some insight. But yeah, sending out those pictures, you guys, and that's the thing as well too, is listen, right? A lot of times people just are so quick to talk. You've got to listen and take in information, and then also be able to retain it. And as you guys are in those instances where it can, there's that reminder of what it was that you had listened to, now you can send it to them. And it's going to be very meaningful to them as well too. So I always do that when I'm at the Eagles games, especially the Eagles games. And all of the guys at the YMCA, they love to see me every time I go to the Y. I feel popular because all of them are just so excited to see me and all coming up to me. And they are so curious as to what it is that I do. And I haven't even really fully gone in depth with what I do. I told them I operate a fund, didn't really go in depth with such. And but they see me at all the games and they're all curious. So they're sending it to all their work buddies and everything. So that'll be huge. And I'll keep you guys updated with what comes out of this team that we're building with things as such.
Yes, absolutely. Here's the cool thing about all these individuals too on here. For example, your litigation attorney, right? Or your SEC attorney. Your litigation attorney is going to take care of lawsuits, right? Either, right, if a tenant slips and falls on stairs, are they going to sue you? Are you protected, right? Different things that are going on in that scenario or in that case. It's unfortunate, but you don't want it to happen. But if somebody, dies in an apartment complex you own, like these are all legal issues. You want to make sure that you're not worrying about those things, right? So you want to have somebody that's dealt with it, somebody that's done those things on your team. So that way, as soon as it pops up, they're on top of it and you're not bothered and you're not stressed out, so you can sleep good at night. At the end of the day, it's business. Multifamily is a business. You're not buying a house, you're buying a business, right? And your SEC attorney is going to make sure all your paperwork's good, not only your paperwork with the transaction, but for your investors, right? This is where if your investors want to know, hey, how am I protected? That's your SEC paperwork right there. So you want to make sure you got a really good SEC attorney that could take care of all of that paperwork, make sure that you have the best terms in place for your fund or for, your whole deal in general and everybody in the deal. Now, what's nice about all of these people is anybody on your local deal team. Okay. Remember, we got three teams. We got the deal team, we got the property team, and we got the money team. But here's what's nice. The deal team specifically, they're doing deals, right? They're responsible in every way, shape, or form of getting a deal done. So what I've gone out and asked is, right now I'm currently asking, I went and asked my title agent. I found one in multifamily. I'm just recruited him. I'm tossing him a couple plays to see what he could do. And if he does good, I might bring him onto the team. If not, I'm still going to keep interviewing other agents. It's good to have multiple in your pocket. Well, one of them, I said, hey, can you get me all of the owners, multifamily owners in town? You obviously know, see, it's all public record. So like we could go find it ourselves. But again, delegate it. Don't waste time you doing it. So I said, hey, can you pull do you know other multifamily buyers in town? Like, can you introduce me to them? Can you pull up their information, make an email introduction, XYZ? And so now he's going to work to do that. Same thing with your SEC attorney. You think you're the only person they're doing, paperwork for? Nope. They're doing paperwork all the time. Who are they doing it for? They're doing it for other multifamily investors, right? Commercial listing brokers. This is good. I actually am currently building a relationship with the #1 listing broker in the entire state where I'm at, taking them out to dinner. And here's the reason why. There's a 50-unit apartment complex that I want to GP on, right? So normally we LP, meaning we raise funds from investors as into our fund, and then all the money in that fund we give to a GP, someone that's going to be the general partner and execute the business plan. But this deal specifically, I want a GP on, right? Because I'm building my local deal team, so I want to make sure that I could build my local deal team and give them a project to work on. Well, it's listed by a broker, meaning if it's listed, I'm probably competing with 8 or 9 other buyers nationwide that they see this deal. And so I'm building this relationship with him because I want to tell him, especially next week when I have coffee with him, I'm going to tell him, hey, like, I'm going to do this deal no matter what. Can you unlist it? Can you unlist it? And then let's just negotiate. Like, let's get this deal done because I want this deal no matter what. The numbers make sense. The location makes sense. Everything makes sense on it. I want to do it, but other investors, especially institutional buyers that got billions of dollars, they just come swoop in and buy anything. So like, I'm against that. I don't want to compete against that. I want to do this deal properly. And so if you got that good relationship with your broker, they may or may not, take it down and give you, exclusivity on it. So I'm going to convince them to take it down. So that way I can build that relationship and say, hey, watch me do this deal. Let's do it together. He's the listing broker, but, so I don't got to pay him on the broker side, but I might have him also invest in the deal, different things like that. Real estate owned brokers. This is good because these are foreclosed properties, right? These are the ones where the lenders take back the property. And if they take back the property and they know you can close, they'll text you and they'll say, hey, we're about to foreclose on this property in about 30 days. Do you want to take a look at it? And now you can underwrite the deal in advance. This is what happened with 2 of our North Carolina portfolio properties that we're buying right now. We close one on the 30th and then one on the 13th for a total of 263 units in North Carolina. Well, the way the team found those deals is through a REO broker, right? One of them got foreclosed on and it was already in foreclosure. So we bought it at a 30% discount. And then the other one was in foreclosure. And the broker hit up our GP team and was like, hey, I know you guys could close. I know you guys like these types of properties. Do you want to underwrite it in advance? And he sent over the whole paperwork in advance. It didn't go to foreclosure. We actually saved him out of foreclosure, and the seller sold it to us at a 30% discount, right? So 2 properties at a 30% discount, one foreclosed on, one in foreclosure, one we saved out of, before it got there. And best believe if that owner, that seller has any more properties, they're going to think of our GP team first because we just saved him. He lost money. Yeah, but he didn't get foreclosed on, which is bad for your track record, right? So deals will get passed to you. So, we're out there looking for deals, of course, but deals will come to us the more you build that reputation. And then your banker. Obviously, you're going to need good loans at good interest rates. Maybe a 3-year term, a locked in interest rate at like 4%, where people are getting 7, 8, 9, 10%, different things like that. Your local property team, right? You want to make sure you have your inspector that inspects every unit. They're going to take time out of their day and they're going to walk every single unit, right? And they're going to look at the plumbing. They're going to look at the walls. They're going to look at the floors. They're going to look at the sinks. They're going to look at the toilets, the fridges, the appliances. They're going to look at everything in every unit for you and give you a proper report that you could pass down over here to your contractors, right? Then you're going to have your surveyor. that's going to survey the property and the land itself. These are good people. Again, too, inspectors. Who do you think they're inspecting for if they inspect for multifamily? Other multifamily investors. So great people to have on your team, because you could call these other multifamily investors and partner on deals together, right? Contractors are always good. Probably, obviously, going to be one of your most important people. It's a make or break with contractors, meaning you definitely want the LeBron James of the contractors. You don't want to put together a team just because your buddy is in construction and he might want to, build his portfolio or his experience with you. You don't want that, right? He could be doing construction for 15 years and be really good at what he does, but on a professional level, to make sure he's getting everything at the proper cost, to make sure that you can still have the correct numbers to do the numbers exactly how you want to be doing them, then, that's going to be very important as well. So that's why with being vertically integrated with Rise, with our GP that we're currently investing with, they got their own in-house, general contractor's license with their own in-house expert that's been doing it for years on a professional commercial level. They get commercial rates. They get everything at cost, right, for a construction worker. So that cuts a lot of the cost where most people are paying retail to a third-party construction company, right? And so, and yes, because it's vertically integrated, you still pay your in-house construction team, not the labor, but, fees and things like that. The company still has to make money, but it's not going to be at a retail price. It's going to be at a super deep discount price, which does what? It increases the margins for our investors' returns, right? Or at least it mitigates the risk even more because we're getting that discount on construction. Then they're your experts too. So whenever there is an issue, right? I don't know what I'm going to do with plumbing issues or foundational issues or a roofing issue or things like that. I'm going to go to an expert. I'm going to hear their logic behind it and, their pricing behind it. And if it makes money, makes sense, fits in the numbers, let's get it done. Right? That's the difference between, are you going to flip an apartment and are you going to do apartment units? Are you going to do low grade, mid grade, or high grade? Right? In Scottsdale, you go high grade, almost like you're renovating a house, a luxury house, right? You go granite. Sometimes they even go marble countertops inside of apartments in Scottsdale. Why? Because the clientele is there. People will pay $4,000 a month, $5,000 a month. I got a friend paying $8,000 a month for, matter of fact, an apartment the same size as the one I'm in right now, right? This one I'm in right now is about $1,100 a month. Again, it's a different part of the country. It's a different part of the city. Where he's at in Scottsdale, he's paying for the same size, $8,000 a month. Why? Because it's Scottsdale, Arizona, right? So they get to invest high-grade materials into that apartment, where if you're in a different location, you might want to do low-grade or mid-grade. Your contractors are going to be the experts to help you out with that. And then the same thing here with property management, right? Our GP team, they have their own in-house property management company, right? So they got their investment company, construction company, and property management. If I'm investing into a third-party property management company, I'm paying all of these setup fees, and I'm giving them 8 to 11% profit on the complex every single month, right? So being in-house, we could cut those costs. You still got to pay the management team because they're still employees there. But rather than paying 11%, maybe you're paying 5% or 6%, right? A lot lower. So you're cutting these costs very, very low. Average is about 8%, you can see. But it also depends on the size of the property, and I would say location does play an effect, because I'm pretty sure Scottsdale properties, they probably charge a lot for property management, whereas where I'm at, it's 8% here. But when it's in-house, you could be at 5%, 6%, saving you a dramatic amount. Again, mitigating the risk and allowing to put more profits into your investors' pockets. This is what we're both doing. So as we raise our funds, we're going to be in-house vertically integrated with our own construction company and our own property management company as well, probably in 2026. So very, very soon, right around the corner. Then you got your money team, right? Your money team outside of capital raising. Everyone could be a capital raiser on this call, right? If you know people that own a house, right? And they could pull 50,000 or 100,000 equity out of their house and put it into a multifamily deal. Cool. You know, everyone could be an investor. We like to work with pro athletes because it is statistically proven. Unfortunately, you know, it's not something that we just think is happening, but 80% of professional athletes end up being broke within 2 to 5 years of their career ending, right? Not having investment. It's becoming very, very popular now to educate professional athletes on where they're putting their money and managing their money, right? Not spending their contracts, only living off of endorsement money, stuff like that. But what we want to go is the extra step. We want to teach you how to build wealth with multifamily, right? Multifamily is not get rich quick, but it's get wealthy for sure, right? It's get wealthy for sure. Imagine you play, you know, these athletes play a 10-year career in the NFL, right? Make decent money. Let's say, you know, 3 million a year to, you know, some athletes are making tens of millions and even hundreds of millions. But let's say, you know, $3 million a year. If you're putting literally 500 grand every, you know, 6 months, you know, 4 to 6 months into a new deal over the 10-year period, like you are setting yourself up for success. So when you get out, you could blow 100% of your contract money, knowing that next month you got an extra 40 grand a month, 70 grand a month, 100 grand a month coming in anyway, right? Making $1 million a year off of cash flow money you're not working for, right? Passive income. So it's not get rich quick, but it is get rich for sure. Outside of investors, this is your money team right here. So you got your mortgage and you got your lending brokers. Okay. If you don't know how to negotiate seller finance and at 100% seller finance, right, where you're not dealing with a mortgage broker or a lending broker, these are your teams. These are people that are going to control what you pay, your interest rates. I got a phenomenal team out of Idaho that I've used for like 16 units and below before, right? Where they've given me a $1.6 million mortgage on a 16 unit complex before, you know, and I don't know how high they go. They have a $50 million fund where they do these loans, you know, so they deal with more smaller complexes like 30 units and below. That's why I used them, but they give me phenomenal rates, right? Where matter of fact, I'll tell you guys how powerful a lending broker or a mortgage company and the lending brokers are. That company out of Idaho, when I was doing single family, would give me for my fix and flips. And if I wanted to do long-term, I never did long-term, unfortunately, but for all my fix and flips, people were getting hard money loans at like 12% interest rates, 14% interest rates. I think still to this day. Because of my relationship with them, I actually invested into them first. I put money in their fund, right? They got a $50 million fund. I put money in their fund and built a relationship. I was getting all my hard money on fix and flips at 0% interest rate. And any referral I sent to them, I could guarantee my referral to get a 3% interest rate with them. That's the power of relationships, where everyone else who's coming to them is getting 11% or, you know, up to 14% on their fix and flip hard money because they don't have that relationship. So all that goes a long way. That puts money back in your pocket. Accountant, you're going to want to need, right? You might be doing all the accounting yourself when you start up, which is fine. But definitely as you scale, that's one of the very first, most affordable hires you're going to want on your team. They could start part-time. Actually, most accountants are accountants for like 5 or 10 different companies because it's a very simple, it's a tedious job when you're a big company, but some accountants start off and they work with a lot of small companies so they could do 10 different companies at once. Eventually you want to bring in them in-house to be with you full-time and, you know, not put attention towards everybody else. So that'll be one of your first hires right there. And then if you are a pro athlete and you're watching this, and for anybody in general, but here's the power of a 1031 exchange. We have another video. It'll be in our school community and it'll be on our YouTube account. I shared it before, but it's called the power of a 2x return. Okay. A power of doubling your money every 2 to 3 years. Imagine doubling your money, let's say 3 years. If you doubled your money every 3 years for 30 years through a 1031 exchange. And what a 1031 exchange is, it's when, let's say you put 100 grand into a deal with us, right? We want to double your money. We want to give you a 2x return in roughly a 3-year period. Well, on year 3, when we sell the property, you would get back your 100 grand plus 100 grand of profit, right? Double your money. So 200 grand will hit your bank account. Well, unfortunately, you got to pay capital gains tax on that. So you're going to get your money, but you're going to pay capital gains tax, right? That same 100 grand is making you a 7% preferred return. So $7,000 a year, right? It's about $583 a month. And instead of taking out 200 grand and paying taxes on it, and now you have no cash flow because you took the money out, we could 1031 exchange that money. That means it never touches yours. It goes straight to the title agent, right? The title company holds the money. When we close on the next property, it goes, now you got 200 grand compounded. We roll that money over into the new property. Now you invested 200 grand instead of 100 grand. Still at a 7% preferred return. So now you're making $14,000 a year, which is roughly like $1,100 a month now, right? $1,100 a month. And then let's say in 3 more years, we do that again and we double your money. So now you got 400,000 and then 800,000, right? And then 1.6 million and then 3.2 million, right? And then 6.4 million, right? So if you doubled your money, the power of 2, right? Imagine earning a 7% preferred return on $10 million, right? I think that might be $70,000 a year, or I could be wrong. $1 million, 70,000 a year. Let me do the math, actually, because I want to make sure. I think it's 700,000 a year. If we compounded your money to 10 million, and I took that's 700,000 a year, that's $58,000 a month, right? So if we just compounded your money and doubled it every 3 years till you're at 10 million, now you're making $58,000 a month, $700,000 a year, and you're not doing nothing. That's passive cash flow, passive income. That's the power of a 1031 exchange. And that's what we want to do with a lot of you guys as well. Now, real quick, that's the spreadsheet. That's version 1.0. You guys will have access to that on this video. What I'm going to add is a version 2.0 because I thought of some other things. So let's see if there's any of them right here that no, I think we're good. I think actually we're good. I think I already added them. I must have already added them because I got contractor on here, maintenance. Cool.
And so how can people get access to this sheet?
So what we'll do is that exact same sheet. What I'll do is I'll get the share link for it. I'll send it to you. And when you publish this video on YouTube or wherever it gets published, in the descriptions, we'll put the link to that says, make a copy or download the spreadsheet. They can click it. They'll hit file, make a copy. It'll be in their Google Drive and they can start filling it in.
Easy.
But man, if you guys want to get into real estate, you guys want to take it serious, right? Real estate is a forever game. So start building your team now. Even if you don't do a deal for 2 to 3 years, like build that team now, deliver value to your team now, right? You think the Lakers, they built a 20-year relationship with LeBron, knowing that whenever they needed to make that call, they would get LeBron, right? So build that relationship, start early.
1,000%. And with the relationships comes community. And, so go out, get involved in the community, get involved in different communities. As we mentioned, I mentioned the YMCA. Michael was mentioning some soccer games and the soccer clubs and organizations. Go out to the AAU basketball games, go out to the Pop Warner football games. It's football season now. So go out, get involved in your guys' communities, connect, network, and ask. I always say, ask and you shall receive. What you're seeking, and what you want also wants you. You just got to put it out there and be looking for it every single day. So we gave you guys the blueprint and the outline as to what is it you guys need. Now it's time for you guys to go execute and go run the play. So this is the play as to finding you guys' team. So when coach is giving you guys the play, we got to run the play. And so, outside of that, and to help you guys even get more involved into other communities, I would highly suggest our community as well too within Wibes University and inside the locker room. I've posted a couple things on the community on my YouTube, and we've merged the communities to where you guys are able to not only get all of the credit value that we've provided over the years, but now you guys are able to also get investing information And if you guys are in the position where you do need to get your credit fixed and you're wanting to invest, but you feel that that's a little bit more down the road, well, it can be that 2 years while you're getting your credit fixed and you're finding and building that team as well too. And so everything that we're doing, it all goes hand in hand. I've always said from the beginning of what I've set out to do that I believe that credit is a foundation to allow us to be able to do these things, because now once we can leverage our credit and the banks, it can allow us to get, as Michael mentioned earlier in this live, lower interest rates, which in the name of the game of investing is going to go, a long way. And so, yes, I appreciate you all tuning in this Friday. All of you guys go through, watch the replay, really go through this sheet as well too that we're going to provide for you guys as well too. And if you guys found any value within it, just share this with 3 people. Share this with 3 people that you feel that this can also benefit and that you would maybe want a part of your guys' team, or maybe people that are looking to get into real estate but don't know, and maybe they think that it's all going to be put on themselves, but you can show them with this video that no, you're going to build out a team, and with your guys' team is going to make what it is that you're looking to do that much more simple. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Michael. Next week we're going to come with some more value. We'll talk about it and give you guys some more. Maybe you guys could comment as well too on this video as well too as to what you guys would love to see. But ultimately, coming forth from next week, we'll have a whole kind of overview of different things that we will give you guys and provide every Friday going forward. So you guys already have some topics and some things to look forward to as well too. So thank you all for being here. Appreciate you, Michael, for the value. These flies are going crazy. I feel like though, and what I want you guys to feel like is, once again, as I mentioned at the beginning of this call, Steve Kerr with that Team USA team. Who's going to be your guys' dream team? All right, so think about it, sit on it, and it's not going to happen overnight, but one night, I promise you it'll happen. So thank you all for being here. Peace and love. I'll see y'all soon.
Later.
Peace. Oliver's ready to take action. Let's do it. Let's see it. Peace and love.